Hi everybody, this is Matt and I'm back with another Mesh Modeler tutorial, and today we're going to be creating custom magnetic pipes that you can drive on any surface. And part of this tutorial is going to demonstrate layers in objects and the difference between collidable and visible geometry. So to start off, we're going to go ahead and select our item mode, click this middle icon to create a new item, and we're going to go ahead and put it right here next to our track. Then we'll go into geometry, mesh, and click this settings gear to jump into the edit mode. And then we'll click on this little cube and press delete to get rid of that. The next thing we need to do is create a face. So we'll go to the creation tools at the bottom. We're going to select the create disk, set the tool step to 8 meters, click on the origin, and drag upwards, and then click again to create a disc. So if you wanted your pipe to be vertical, you could click and drag in the other direction like this. So depending on which axis you drag on, is going to be which direction your face is facing. So I'll go ahead and get rid of that. And so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to move this up just so we can see the whole face. So I'll click on the move tool. Our tool step is already at 8 meters. I'll press Control A to select all, click on this, drag upwards, and so now we have our pipe face right here. The next thing we need to do is extrude this, and so we'll go to in the bottom to the modeling tools, or press F2, and then we're going to change our tool step to 2 meters, and we'll click on extrude selection. Press Control A and then click on extrude selection. And so this will let us extrude in any direction. So we'll go ahead and extrude to the left here. And so let's say I extrude one step to the left. I'm going to click on selection and click on the grass. So one of the things you can see here is that our object doesn't really look like a tube. It's kind of hollow. This basically means we've extruded in the wrong direction. So if you hit Control Z, Control A to select all again, and then extrude, we're actually going to extrude the opposite way, just 2 meters. And then we can click on the grass again to deselect it. So now it actually looks like a full cube. So sometimes, depending on like the faces seem to have a front side and a back side and can only extrude in one direction. So if you're running into something weird like that, try extruding in the opposite direction. So the next thing we need to do then is turn this slice of a pipe into a full pipe, and we're going to do that using the deformation tool. So one of the things to note is if I click on the grass and deselect everything, my I guess my object looks like this, but if I click on it to select it, it'll be highlighted, and if I double click on it, I can see all of the faces on it. When you double click on it, it makes it and have all these faces. All of these lines converge at the same point. And if you have it like this, it makes it really hard to select whatever point is right here in the middle. And so for the deformation tool, you want to make sure that it's highlighted like this without the lines before going into the deformation tool, because that's going to make it a lot easier to select the different dots that we need. And it's actually a lot more performant as well when you're in this editor. So we'll go ahead and select it like this. Click on the deformation tool, and the deformation always goes in a specific direction. And so it's going to deform in the direction like from this green square to the right here. And so if we want it to go to the opposite side, we can select this orange dot at the other end. And by clicking on this orange dot, it lets us select which way we want to deform it. So if we were going to deform towards the stands, we could select this orange dot on the opposite side from that and deform our pipe that way. That doesn't really make sense, so we're going to go ahead and deselect that again. We'll select the one on the very right-hand side so we can deform towards the left. And I'm going to leave this on tool step 2, and we're going to go ahead and click on this yellow one, this yellow dot once to get rid of the green dot. So if I click on the grass, we get the green dot back. If I click on this yellow dot, now I've selected this face, and I can click and drag it to the left to start my section of the pipe. From here, I'm going to click on the grass again and click on the green dot. And so by clicking on the green dot, it creates a second section of pipe that I can move without changing the first section. So this first section is going to be completely straight. The second section, I'm going to have a curve going upwards. So I'm going to click on the yellow dot here, and I'll move it to the left a bit. I'll move it up a little more, like this. And then what I actually want to do is have this pipe, because it's magnetic and we can drive on it, I'm actually going to make it vertical. And so to do that, we need to rotate this face. So we need to rotate it so that this face is facing upwards. So we're going to take this top one and go 90 degrees. And you can tell that this color will change to purple when you hit 90 degrees. So we'll go ahead and do that 90 degrees. So our pipe is now facing upwards. Then we're going to create a straight up section of pipe. So I'm going to click on the grass, click on this green deform tool and move it, or the green dot, to go up a bit. And so we'll create a new section up here. You could create different blocks for different sections of the pipe. Probably would make things more reusable, but depending on your track, you might be specifically trying to connect 2 points where this type of thing can be pretty helpful. So we'll click on the green dot, create another new section of pipe, and this one's going to be now a curve to the left. So I'll click on the yellow dot and drag and move this to where I want it. Let's see, drag it upwards a bit along the blue axis, and then we'll go 90 degrees again by clicking on this right hand dot to rotate the face. And finally, we're going to finish off our track with another straight section of pipe. So this will essentially be completely magnetic. You could drive on any side of it. And to make it magnetic, we're going to go through that process now. So we can go ahead and, I guess, click on selection, for example, and click out of it. I just double clicked on the grass to get out of the deformation tool. Obviously, yeah, this has a lot of edges, so it is going to be probably really, really large. So I think there's probably ways to better optimize what that's going to be. But we're going to just stick with that for now to start to demonstrate a few other things around the layers and also copying objects between layers. So this is right now is both collidable and visible. So the geometry layer attributes, I guess, are listed right here. So if we want to make this not collidable, then we can click on this check mark. So the magnet physics is a collidable geometry, but it doesn't actually have, it's not visible, so it doesn't have any materials associated with it. So we get to pick which material we want associated with it on this layer. Then we're going to make a different layer that's collidable. So we're going to have one layer that's visible, one layer that's collidable. The collidable layer is going to be the magnetic layer, and this one will be visible. So we'll hit Control A and click on this paint can to go into materials. And the more faces you have, the slower materials is to load. So I have no idea how long this is going to take. Okay, pretty quick, so that's good. And then I think on page like 11 or 12, okay, page 11, we have custom metal, and we also have custom metal painted. And so these two are great materials to use for magnetic objects. There's probably other options as well, but I'm gonna go ahead and select custom metal painted. And when I select that, I should get a color palette up here. So I can make it any color metal that I want. So I guess this bright pink, it looks good. Maybe we'll change it, make it even brighter pink, and we'll click on apply material to selection. So now I have this bright pink metal pipe, and we're going to make it magnetic. So to do that, I'm gonna go back to the modeling tools, the second one, hit Control A to select everything, and I'm gonna click copy selection. So this will copy everything that's here, and we can paste it to a new layer. So we're gonna go ahead on the left-hand side. If this is shrunk down, you can click these like 3 squares to open the layers menu, and click the plus in the bottom left to create a new geometry layer. So now when you have these layers open, you can click these eyes to show or hide the geometry layers. So the first thing we want to do, let's hide the one we previously, with our purple pipe on it, and then that'll make it easy to go into our top geometry layer by clicking the gear icon. So now we can edit this layer, click on the cube that's here, and hit delete. So we want to delete that cube so it's not part of our block. The next thing we want to do is paste what we copied into this layer. And before you paste something, if you want to paste something in the exact same spot, put the tool step to 0. And then once you do that, click this icon on the left to paste it. And you'll see that we can't actually move what we're pasting. It's just going to be right here. And you can just click on it once, and that's going to paste exactly what we had on the other layer onto this layer. So you can see that now we have it on both layers. So if I hide both of them, you see nothing. If I show the bottom layer, I'll see it. And if I show the top layer, I'll also see it. And so on the top layer, instead of having this purple material that's collidable, we want it, or that's visible, we want to have something that's not visible but is collidable. So we're going to deselect the visibility. So it's only going to be collidable geometry. And then we'll go into the materials again by clicking on this paint can. And you can see we have different options for materials. So you can pick any material you want like this. So you could have something that looks like grass but behaves like dirt, or something that looks like ice but behaves like a magnetic surface. So you can really troll people if you're making ball maps like that. In this case, we're going to go to page 2, and there are 3 magnetic physics options here: TrackMania, super magnetic, and TrackMania acceleration. I'm not sure the differences between like this third one, or what that means, but I'm assuming super magnetic just means it's more magnetic than the first one. I'm just going to select the first one so we have the normal magnet physics, and click on that, and then click on make sure everything is selected by pressing Control A, and click apply material to selection. And so you can see when we did that, now it turned blue. So this layer is visible and collidable. Our other layer, if we show it again, is visible but not collidable. And so those 2 layers combined basically make up a collidable and visible object. So we're going to go ahead and click on save. And I'm going to save this as my like pink magnet pipe. And we can hit back. And then as always for the placement parameters, it makes it a lot easier to place blocks. If the fly step is 1, the horizontal size is 32, and the vertical size is 8. That's generally what I picked to make things pretty easy to place, but you can play around with those values if you want. And we'll go ahead and hit get out of this. And so now we have our pipe. And I'm going to go delete this. And let's see. So it looks like, so depending on like where, so you can see that like this goes every like 32 blocks. And that's because of the horizontal placement size. So if I wanted to make this a little easier to place in the center, I guess I can go back in here and say the horizontal size is 16. So I'll just save that again. So that'll give me like, it'll go like every 16 blocks. And so it makes it a little easier to place right here. There's other, I guess the other thing you can do is create offsets. So as well, or you can move the item around within the block. So that's my magnetic pipe. I'm going to go ahead and test it out here to make sure it's magnetic. So we should, yep, can just kind of like climb right onto it. And there we have it. So that's, yeah, our magnet pipe. Hopefully everyone enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. I'm interested to see what magnetic items you guys come up with. And let me know in the comments if you have any ideas for future videos or other things you want to see. So thanks so much, everybody, and have a great rest of your day.